On the whole, to summarize where you are, you're basically saying that the jobs data that came out was a little bit surprising, but in the end, you've taken it into account, and you're pretty comfortable with the guidance you gave last time, and you're not prepared to give anything that's completely different guidance than you gave last week.
Well, I mean, this is a world in which we've had the labor market report, and I think that does. I think it underscores the message that I was sending at the press conference and in the meeting, that we have a significant road ahead to get inflation down to 2%, and I think there's been an expectation that it'll go away quickly and painlessly, and I don't think that's at all guaranteed. That's not the base case. The base case is for me is that it will take some time, and we'll have to do more rate increases, and then we'll have to look around and see whether we've done enough.
Okay. And 2% is the rate we had for the last 25 years before inflation came along. But prior to that, for most of U.S. history, we were higher than 2%. Is it that 2% we're now so used to 2% after 25 years of it that you think that's the appropriate level?
So we went through this long period where inflation was really anchored around 2%. And we think that, and economists think that that's because people start to expect 2% inflation. And inflation, it's in a way, if everyone expects that prices are going to go up, prices and wages are going to go up 2% per year, then plus productivity in the case of wages, then it will. That's what will happen. Having price stability, real price stability for an extended period of time is just enormously beneficial to the public, because you can then, on the back of that, you can build a very strong labor market, as we had. We had a labor market with really 3.5% unemployment in 2018 and 19. And we had inflation running, just barely getting to 2%. Wages moving up the most for people at the lower end of the spectrum. And so this was we all want to get back to that place. But the bedrock of the whole thing is to get inflation under control.
The unemployment rate hasn't come down as much as people are going up, as much as people thought. In part, some people say because we don't have as many immigrants coming in the country, legal immigrants coming in, taking some of the jobs they otherwise would take. Do you think immigration is an issue in terms of giving us more labor workers, or do you think that's not a factor?
So just as a matter of arithmetic, it was a factor because there was very little migration across borders during the pandemic. And that was part of what was happening, particularly in certain sectors like the agricultural sector and food service and things like that, where there just weren't the people. However, just very recently here, the immigration data have turned up again. And I think that may be part of why people are feeling somewhat less pressure in the labor market to find workers. This is an issue not for the Fed, though. Immigration is obviously a political issue. We do not seek to be a player on this. But it's just a fact, though, that right now the United States has fewer available workers than it has jobs plus job openings.
And when you increase interest rates, the traditional effect is to increase the value of the dollar versus other currencies. Do you have any concern about the value of the dollar going up too much, or that's not something you comment on?
So the responsibility for the exchange rate really rests with the Treasury Department and the administration, not with us. Of course, that's another financial variable that goes into every economic model, but we don't look at it as something that we're working on.
All right. Well, I think I haven't been able to get you to say anything you didn't want to say. I would say, Jay, I've known you a long time. I think you've done a great job in a difficult situation. I appreciate your service to the country at $180,000 a year, or whatever the salary is, something like that. So thanks very much for being here, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, David. Great to see you.